What are some of the current methods used to measure the improvement of ELL students?
Currently, some of the school districts have developed or adopted tests that measure the improvement of ELL students. In Virginia, there are ELL standards of learning in addition to the general education standards of learning, and in all content areas. And there are specific guidelines for administering the state test. Students are still required, however, to take the test, but not until they've reached a certain level of language proficiency. All the districts in Virginia are also required to offer ELL support services. Most of the time, students are pulled out of the classrooms until they become proficient in English, and their level of proficiency decreases the amount of time that they have to spend in those pull-out programs as their proficiency increases.
We understand that there's a shortage of teachers, especially those who speak another language. Why is that?
Well, there's very little reward for teachers to seek this kind of add-on endorsement. It will add a little on their salary, but not much. And with budget cuts and layoffs and salary limits, it also deters people don't want to go into teaching because they're hearing about all those layoffs and all the budget cuts and everything. It's already a low-paying profession, but when they start hearing school budget cuts and school personnel layoffs, they ask the question, why do I want to become a teacher?
Can you speak about the funding allocation in public schools?
The money for schools is tax-based. It's allocated by the school districts after the taxes are collected. And of course, school districts with high tax bases have more resources and funding than the ones that do not, or the areas within a district that do not. Most all different districts in most all school systems allocate funding for ELL students, but not always enough. It really depends on the area. Sometimes if there's a high number of ELL students that have moved into the area very quickly, it's very difficult to get those services and the money that's needed. This is especially tough because classrooms today are very overcrowded and are becoming more so with budget cuts, and teachers really have a difficult time teaching all of the diverse students in an overcrowded classroom.
What type of training should teachers who are going to teach ELL students go through?
Well, teachers should have adequate training in knowing how to teach. However, they should know, with just the basic teacher training on licensure programs, how to adapt the needs of all their students. But sometimes standardized testing limits teachers. Students have a hard time if they are ELL for a number of reasons. The State Department, or the Department of Education, wants all students to be in the classroom. Everybody, regardless of what your needs are. But it's very difficult to teach so many students with special needs. Then both the teacher and the student are blamed for those failing standardized tests, but it's almost impossible to master those tests with such a diverse classroom and all the mixed ability levels. A lot of times the more diverse the school population, the lower the test scores. Future teachers and current teachers also need to take courses like our Diverse Learners course to help them learn other ways of teaching without just drilling students on what's going to be on the test or the basic skills needed to master the test. If our teachers are using different strategies and vary their instructional practice, like we suggest in the course here at our school, or use something similar to the SIOP model, they can meet the needs of diverse learners. School systems need to work with the current teachers, and the school programs or the teacher training programs need to incorporate ELL instruction techniques such as the SIOP model and become less focused on the test and more focused on the needs of the students.
What kind of policies would you like to see implemented for ELL students?
Well, right now schools, as I said before, are experiencing a lot of budget cuts, and many times this increases the number of students in the class, so class sizes are going up. I would really like a policy to see a cap on class size at the current level right now before it starts to affect the programs that we currently offer. Every day we hear cut, layoffs, but where's the money going? If your class size keeps growing, how can you reach all your students? I think our country needs to start spending more money on education, not less. So I think that the policies that need to be in place are good. That we have good policies now. I just think we need to keep those policies in place and put a cap on the number of students in the classrooms right now before the services are lessened. I don't know where to begin fixing the problems with education. It's just so big. ELL programs are critical, just like other programs are for other students with special needs. But the schools continue to have to do more with less.
Our senior thesis focused on dual immersion programs. What are your thoughts about having programs like this?
I think it's a great idea. If the school system can support it adequately, have well-trained teachers, and provide ongoing support for both the teachers and the students in the program. Schools, especially elementary schools, such as Fox Elementary School, or even high schools like Tucker High School, are already trying to implement and support dual immersion programs. Some of the schools are sending teachers to other countries to learn and reinforce their new language skills, and the dual immersion curriculum enhance that and also learn about other cultures so they can bring back rich experiences to the students. But it's still hard to find teachers for dual language programs because it's not required to know a language or to be fluent in a foreign language to become a teacher or to be licensed. Hence, schools don't have enough teachers that speak more than one language or know how to teach students who speak more than one language or is learning another language. And they don't have the funding to train the teachers adequately for these new programs. A lot of new teachers just going into the profession don't have the adequate training, and some have no professional training at all as a result of programs that offer like alternative licensure or require no license, such as Teach for America. They only offer a basic level of support for new teachers. So to do something like an add-on endorsement for those programs in ELL would be something that probably wouldn't happen as the new teachers began teaching.
Do you have any book recommendations for our senior thesis?
I sure do. I think this Making Content Comprehensible for English Language Learners about the SIOP model would be a great book to read. Mm-hmm. It outlines the SIOP model very clearly.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for interviewing with us, and thank you for helping us.
Yes, I certainly enjoyed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.